Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Meha Bharadwaj-Alter and this is Game On. It's the eve of the fifth and the final test. So let's begin with what we can expect in Dharamsala. Yes, Team India will close out its season of Test cricket with the final match against England in arguably the world's prettiest cricket ground, the HPCA Stadium in Dharamsala. Nestled in the foothills of the Himalayas with the majestic Dhauladhar range behind it, the venue has so far hosted only one test match, which was a series-clinching affair for India versus Australia in 2017. The second test match in Dharamsala does not carry as much importance as that fixture 7 years ago did, but Rohit Sharma's team will be eyeing the 12 points available to consolidate its place at the top of the World Test Championship table. And on top of this, there are three individuals who will view this game with a special lens. Ravichandran Ashwin and Jonny Bairstow, for whom this will be their 100th test match, and the unstoppable James Anderson, who needs 2 wickets to become the four-seamer and third bowler overall to the landmark of 700 in test matches. So, Ashwin is set to become the 14th Indian cricketer to play 100 tests, having already become the second to take 500 wickets earlier in the series, while Bairstow will become the 17th Englishman to join the club. Coming to the team combinations, the hosts will be boosted by the return of their vice-captain and bowling spearhead, Jasprit Bumrah, who was rested for the 4th test. Bumrah has undoubtedly been the difference between both the sides, taking 17 wickets at under 14 apiece, and in what are widely expected to be swing-friendly conditions in Dharamshala, the pacer looms as the biggest threat to England's batters. The question regarding the bowling combination is whether or not India will field a third-seamer in this match, with high chances of grey skies and rain ahead. If indeed India play 3 quicks, then the man to miss out would be Kuldeep Yadav, who's taken 11 wickets in 3 matches. It was in Dharamshala in 2017 that Kuldeep made his test debut and took 4 wickets on day 1. But if the conditions play as expected and rain does have a say, the likelihood of a wrist spinner playing ahead of the more traditional finger spinners in Ashwin and Jadeja are slim. In regards to the batting, the only dilemma is whether India persist with Rajat Patidar, who averages 10 in his first series, or hand a debut to Devdutt Padikkal, who has an excellent first-class stats to show in 2024. England, who've already lost the series, have kept the same approach to playing 2 pacers and 2 spinners, with Joe Root the 5th bowling option. The only change from the previous match is that Ollie Robinson making way for Mark Wood. Despite anticipating the coolest conditions of the series in Dharamshala, Bairstow has been backed by the team management all through what has been a torrid tour of India, in which he's managed to score just 170 runs in 4 tests, and said before this game that it will be an emotional moment for him in Dharamshala when he plays his 100th match. Indian captain Rohit Sharma was at his witty best on the eve of the 5th test. He took a dig at England opener Ben Duckett, who had said that Yashasvi Jaiswal has learned to play attacking cricket after watching baseball. Rohit reminded Duckett about a certain Rishabh Pant, who is currently out of action due to multiple injuries he suffered during a car crash, but he is on his way to recovery and will be seen in the IPL for Delhi Capitals. Now, this is what Rohit Sharma had to say. He said, Yashasvi Jaiswal learning from Ben Duckett? There was a guy called Rishabh Pant in our team. Probably Ben Duckett hasn't seen him play. I just don't know what baseball means to me. This is what he had to say about baseball. I haven't seen wild swinging from anyone. England have played better cricket than they were here last time, but I still don't know what baseball means. Rohit also spoke about how India have found ways to come back and dominate after being put under pressure. He said, and I quote, basically it has been a series of comebacks, and we made good comebacks in the series. If we were behind on day 2, we've come back well on day 3. We've come back from being down in one session to dominating the next. So throughout the series, you must have seen that we've absorbed pressure and put it back on the opposition. This has been satisfying, especially with a group of boys who've not been under such pressure situation. This is not all. Rohit has also had to deal with injury and availability of his players across formats since taking over, and he's been trying to find ways to make things relaxed in the dressing room. This is what he had to say when he was asked this question about injuries and availabilities. He said, "I haven't studied much in school, but I am studying here a lot. It's important that every team tries to play differently, and to understand that is important. I enjoy that as I get to learn about my game and about captaincy, so it's a good process for me." He says, "I don't think that players are injured or players are not available. Since I became captain, I haven't played with a full team. It's no excuse, but it is what it is, so you can't change that thing." Now, as our Ashwin steps out for the 5th test, he will be part of a very exclusive club. Only 13 Indians have played 100 test matches, and Ashwin will become the 14th Indian to reach the landmark. In an exclusive with Cricinfo, Ashwin has spoken about what it means to play 100 test matches. He said, and I quote, "When we get into the Indian team or an IPL team, we're not always prepared for a scenario that we will get only 1 or 2 chances to prove ourselves. That is the pressure I have played with for long durations in my career. I think my going on to represent India in 100 tests really means something in that regard. I wouldn't say I'm a motivation for others. I might well be, but that is not what I set out to do. It is the experience of having played 100 tests and having experienced this wonderful country and the cricket community of this wonderful country that I can share with cricketers and probably help more cricketers from my part of the country to come through." Ashwin's wife, Preeti, also wrote a piece about her life with the 37-year-old cricketer in the Indian Express. She congratulated her husband, saying, "I write this as we make our way up to Dharamsala and realize what a pleasure it has been." She says, "Congratulations, Ashwin. We've come through 99 tests together. We're so proud of all those you played and those you didn't. It's been a wonderful journey and hope the rest of it gives you as much happiness." Preeti also wrote about her marriage with Ashwin, where she said she found it difficult to adjust to the demands of an international cricketer's lifestyle. She says, "I don't have a problem putting him first, but I was very unsettled the first few years, not in the marriage, but in how much this profession was taking away from what I could be building with him. First it was surprise, then shock, then denial, then it was pure misery. When we had children, I was sacrificing all our time. It took time to understand that if you want to succeed at the highest level, it always comes at a cost, either not spending time with his parents or with his wife and children." Now, Ashwin had to take a leave of absence after the second day's play of the Rajkot test against England. He'd reached the 500 wickets milestone the same day. He'd addressed the press conference after the end of the final session and immediately jetted off home. BCCI had said that it was a family emergency, and it was later found out that Ashwin's mother was ill. While Ashwin hasn't spoken about it himself, his wife Preeti explained the matter in the piece that she wrote. She says, "During Rajkot, the kids had just got back from school when 5 minutes later he got to 500, and soon all of us were on the phone answering all the congratulatory messages. It was then I heard a sudden scream from Auntie as she collapsed, and in no time we were at the hospital. At that point, we decided not to tell Ashwin because there wasn't good flight connectivity between Chennai and Rajkot. So I dialed Cheteshwar Pujara, and his family were of great help. And once we found a way out, I called up Ashwin because after the scans, the doctor suggested it was better to have her son around. Over the phone, he sounded so broken and hung up. He took another 20-25 minutes to process what I told him and for him to call back. And thanks to Rohit Sharma, Rahul Bhai and the others in the team and the BCCI who followed up all the way till he reached here. He got here late at night. It was a very emotional moment for him to see his mother in the ICU, and after she stabilized, we asked him to rejoin the team. Given his personality, he would never leave a game like that, and he would have an extreme amount of guilt if he didn't win the game for his team." Okay, moving on to news from across the border. Pakistan Cricket Board's new chief Mohsin Naqvi will seek Army's help to strengthen his cricketers for the T20 World Cup, which will be played in the USA and the Caribbean islands from the 1st of June this year. Naqvi has revealed that the World Cup bound players will attend a 15-day training and conditioning camp with the Pakistan Army from 25th of March to 8th of April. The camp will start a week after the Pakistan Super League final. The PCB chief is hoping the camp will help the players to get their fitness. The intensive training camp, however, is not going to be popular with the players who would have otherwise used the short window for rest ahead of 6-month-long hectic international schedule. The camp will also coincide with the second half of the holy month of Ramadan. The effectiveness of the camp can be tricky as most of the players would be fasting. Naqvi had announced the camp at a hotel in Islamabad in the presence of some of the cricketers there. Emphasizing why the team needs to train with the Pakistan Army, he said, and I quote, "When I was watching the matches in Lahore, I don't think a single one of you hit a six that went into the stands. Whenever a six like that was hit, I used to think a foreign player must have hit that. I've asked the board to make a plan that gets every player's fitness up to speed. You will have to make proper effort for that. The Pakistan Army will be involved in your training and hopefully they will help you out." Moving on to football, and Manchester City star striker Erling Holland is happy to extend his contract at the Premier League club. The Norwegian was speaking to the media on the eve of Manchester City's Champions League last 16 second leg tie against Copenhagen. The match will be played tonight. Haaland admitted in that press conference that he does not know what the future will bring, but that he is focused on matters on the pitch opposed to the matters off it. He was also asked about being able to win individual trophies once Lionel Messi retires. Haaland, who had missed out on a Ballon d'Or and FIFA the Best Award to the Argentine World Cup winner, he was all praise for him. Listen in to what he had to say.
I'm really happy, especially with the people that I'm surrounded with, the manager, the directors, the board. They are a group of amazing people, and I'm really happy, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, if I say this now, it's probably going to be a massive headline tomorrow. You never know what the future brings. But again, I'm happy, and you can write this, but you can also have to write everything I said right before. I'm happy, and yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah, my focus mainly now is on the pitch. There's a lot of games. 2 days ago was a Manchester derby, and now it's Champions League, and on Sunday it's Liverpool. So I think I should focus on that. I don't think I should focus on anything else at the moment.
Couldn't have really gone any better in your first year here, and yet you missed out to Messi on the two big individual prizes. For you to actually win those, does he have to retire?
I don't know. Good question. Yeah, it's true. True, he won it, and he won the World Cup. So I don't know what to say. He is the best that's ever played, I think. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was on a trial, or whatever you want to call it, in 2016. I think a couple of guys from the club wanted me then, but not everyone. So it didn't happen. Sad for them, but maybe good for me, because I went to Molde and it was a good choice. Yeah, I like the club, to be fair. It's a nice club. I've got a couple of friends that lives in Copenhagen as well, and they are standing on the, I don't know what you call it, behind the goal in a lot of games. So they enjoy it, and I like the club.
With that, we're going to slip into a short break. When we return, Paris Saint-Germain's Kylian Mbappe scores twice to take his team to Champions League quarterfinals. That and more when we return.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me.
when you come into a stadium. This is the highest level of pressure.
When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless.
Mind and body are entangled sensations.
That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
This and more. Streaming on News9, plus subscribe and get free vouchers.
Welcome back. Paris Saint-Germain's Kylian Mbappe scored twice to lead them into the Champions League quarterfinals with a comfortable 2-1 win away to Real Sociedad in their last 16 second leg. That wrapped up a 4-1 aggregate victory on Tuesday. Bidding to win their first Champions League title, a disciplined PSG made the most of their chances from counter-attacks, with the lightning-fast Mbappe a constant menace. After a remarkable group stage when they went unbeaten to finish ahead of last year's finalists Inter Milan in Group D, La Liga side Real Sociedad, who are struggling with injuries and have won one of their last 10 matches in all competitions, ran out of steam. Mbappe was enjoying an inspired night, and his speed and agility were too much for the host's defense to handle. He was virtually unstoppable down left channel, and Tuesday's brace means he has scored 11 of PSG's last 15 Champions League knockout goals. In a major victory for former Wimbledon and French Open champion Simona Halep, her 4-year doping ban has been cut to 9 months by the top court for global sport on Tuesday. The Court of Arbitration for Sport said in a statement, the CAS panel has unanimously determined that the 4-year period of ineligibility imposed by the ITF independent tribunal is to be reduced to a period of ineligibility of 9 months starting on 7th October 2022, which expired on 6 July 2023. Halep, the former world number 1, had been provisionally suspended since October 2022 after testing positive for roxadustat, a banned drug that stimulates the production of red blood cells at the US Open that year. Halep was also charged with another doping offense last year due to irregularities in her athlete biological passport, a method designed to monitor different blood parameters over time to reveal potential doping. Halep has vigorously denied the charges against her. She's blamed contaminated supplements for her positive tests at the US Open and accused the International Tennis Integrity Agency of charging her with an ABP violation after the group of experts who assessed her profile learned her identity. An independent tribunal accepted Halep's argument that she had taken contaminated supplements, but said the volume she ingested could not have resulted in the concentration of roxadustat found in her positive sample.
She was obviously thrilled with the result. This is the result we were hoping for all along. I think Simona has, she's known all along that she didn't dope on purpose. This was an inadvertent issue with the supplement, and she's been unwavering in her belief that the result at the end would be a just result, and so it took a long time to get there, but she was happy to finally see it. Yeah, so we've already filed suit against the supplement company. That's in the very early stages. And so she intends to see that through. Whether there will be anyone else or any other entities that we seek to hold to account, we don't know yet. We haven't discussed that. I haven't talked to her too much about her schedule yet. I know she's been practicing throughout. I don't know what her plans are as far as like what the first tournament would be. That wasn't the focus of our discussion earlier today, but she's had good support among the players throughout the whole case, so I don't think that she's worried about coming back on the tour. Fans will say what they're going to say, but she knows that she's clean, and and she's looking forward to coming back.
World champion Luca Bressel is excited to be among those looking to complete the first ever 167 break after the new golden ball was introduced at Saudi Arabia's first professional snooker event this week. The opening season of the Riyadh World Masters of Snooker offers players the chance to win a prize of $500,000 if they can complete a maximum 147 and then pot the golden ball. The golden ball, worth 20 points, sits on the top cushion during the frame for as long as a player can still compete a maximum and is removed when the chance is gone. The event, which runs until Wednesday, includes the likes of Ronnie O'Sullivan, Judd Trump, Sean Murphy, Mark Williams and Ding Junhui. Following the announcement last month of the creation of Saudi Arabia's Snooker Masters, which will become the fourth major, Bressel said it was good to see the sport expanding into new countries. With a 10-year deal agreed, the tournament's first edition will take place in Riyadh from August 31st to September 7th and will be a ranking event open to all 4 players plus 6 local wildcards.
It's exciting, the golden ball. Obviously, it's a big prize, and well, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, the 147 in itself is really difficult, but now you need to be perfect on the black as well to go to the golden ball, which is even more difficult. So, but yeah, it's a nice challenge, and I love to have a go at it. Even if I don't make it, I would just like to. I think it's great. New things are always good in any sport. So, yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about it. That's an evidence that it's a good thing. Very good for us, for snooker. It's nice to be able to come to these countries, and hopefully maybe Qatar and Dubai will follow and places like that. And in the future, maybe go up to USA as well and make snooker really, really big in all the countries in the world. And so, yeah, we are really, really happy and grateful that we get those chances.
It's something cool. I think it's always good to kind of push new ideas. And I think the challenge of making a different break, a 167 here, would be very special. Both are obviously very hard. I think the 167 is just that little bit harder now, and with that comes a bigger prize. So I think both would be equally special, but to be the first person to do the 167, I've already done the 147 quite a few times, and so has everyone else. So I think that 167 is very special for the first time. Well, normally it's pretty high, but I think it would just take it up a notch knowing what's on the line this time. So I'm hoping I can put myself in that position and get to experience it.
Can swimmers using swimsuits of a particular brand have an advantage while competing in the Paris Olympic Games this year? Well, dubbed as the fastest swimsuits, the aquatic dress does not absorb water, helps water flow smoothly over the swimmer and lets the athletes feel faster. What are we talking about? Take a look at this story.
Could these Olympic swimmers get gold at the Paris Games, wearing what Speedo has dubbed the fastest swimsuits?
It makes everything feel easier.
I feel like it's helped me feel faster when I wear it.
The Farskin LZR is said to be its most water-repellent swimwear ever. Cora Lavezzo is from Speedo's Aqualab research team.
And essentially what water repellency does and why it's so important is it does just help the water to flow as smoothly as possibly over the athlete. It makes them as smooth a shape as possible going through the water, and that's what helps to make them fast. It also stops the suit itself from absorbing any water that doesn't need to.
The material incorporates a coating originally engineered by Lamoral Space Tech to protect satellites in space. Rosemary Anderson from Aqualab says the swimwear has also undergone hydrodynamic tests.
So it's exactly the same concept as a wind tunnel, but we can change the parameters so we get effectively what it would be in water. And what we actually look to do is kind of get physical scans of athletes that we can then feed into this software, so it's a really accurate representation of what it would be like when they're swimming and when they're in the water with our suits on.
Speedo says the Farskin LZR suits have been approved by World Aquatics. The governing body has previously banned swimsuits from the brand and implemented new rules on body-length swimwear. The Farskin suits will be worn by many competing in Paris this summer, including Matt Richards and Reagan Smith.
And it makes you feel fast, it makes everything feel easier, and you're just sitting almost on top of the water rather than trying to swim through it, you're kind of swimming over it.
For me, I'm a big mental swimmer, and so if I believe that what I'm wearing is doing something special, then it will help me like perform well. They did a really good job of making the new suit seem very exciting and getting people like excited to race in it. And so because of that, I feel like it's helped me feel faster when I wear it.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US market has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury.